Welcome to Front Porch Stories, presented by Craig Messer. Back in the hills, down winding roads, and tucked between ridges, there are small towns and quiet hollers where stories live through the people who've called Appalachia home for generations. Around here, history isn't just written in books, it's shared on front porches, at kitchen tables, and in the voices of the folks who've lived it. On this show, we sit down with some of those voices and we hear their memories, the legends, the hard times, the good times, and everything in between. Now, welcome to our front porch. Grab a cold iced tea and let's settle in for another edition of Front Porch Stories. Here's your host, Craig Messer.
Hello, everybody. This is Craig. Welcome back to Craig Messer's Front Porch Stories. I am blessed to be joined today by somebody that some of you folks might even know. I think he was featured on Fox News one day. He's got a real big following on Instagram. I think all the platforms, really. I'll let him tell a little bit about himself. Mr. Dylan Novak.
Hey, how are you doing, Craig?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I feel jet lagged even though I haven't been on a plane in a few weeks.
Yeah, I understand. You stay busy. You stay busy. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, so I'm a full-time youth pastor down here in East Tennessee, and I also run Celebrity Evangelist Ministries. And we've been doing that full-time for the past 11 years. God's opened the door for us to reach over 2,000 people in the entertainment industry with the gospel, which is where we're coming right out of. I was in Pittsburgh this past weekend at a show, preached at a couple churches in Kentucky, West Virginia, and here we are. And it's nice to be back home.
Yeah, I bet so. So tell us, let's go back to growing up. What
Mhm.
brought you to wanting? What got you into ministry, and then what got you into this platform, maybe, of ministry?
So I got saved when I was 8 years old. I very clearly remember just asking tons of questions about, who is Jesus? Why did Jesus exist? Why did Jesus die on the cross? How many ways is there to heaven? There's one way to heaven. How do I know I'm going to heaven, etc. And very quickly after asking Jesus to be my personal Lord and Savior, I felt a very strong burden to tell other people because even as an 8-year-old, I realized the importance of telling others before it's eternally too late. Well, in 2009, 2008 or 2009, I need to get that date right. I know I was 13 years old. I got to go to a Comic-Con, asked my parents to take me. Margot Kidder was one of the celebrities going to be at this Comic-Con. I was very excited. I'm a huge Superman fan. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. Well, I came across an interview of her where she said she was an atheist. And it just broke my heart because it was that spiritual awakening moment that these people that we love and admire in the entertainment world that have given us so many great memories, they're no different than you and I. They're a soul. They're on their way to heaven or hell. And I prayed, God, please send somebody to tell Margot about your son before it's eternally too late. And God really heavily convicted my heart. What about you? You're going to be right there in front of her. What's stopping you? And I was Jonah for a while because and I think that's a very, very good way to put it. I heard Jim Caviezel's wife say this in an interview one time. Hollywood is not Sodom and Gomorrah, it's Nineveh. And I was like, I can tell you from firsthand experience that is very accurate. Because it's like any other industry, it's like any other people group. You're going to have many who reject, and you're going to have many who are looking and searching. And so after playing Jonah for a few days, I was like, all right, God, I'm tired of running. I'm done. I'll do whatever it is you want me to do. And so I got some tracks from my church, just little gospel outlines, invite cards to church. Again, on one hand, I was like, there's no way in the world Lois Lane's ever going to come to Chohowie Baptist Church, but it had the gospel in it. And again, Stranger things have happened. Well, everybody was receptive, including Margot, that day. And I did that for 7 years. I would go to these shows, not just Comic Cons, but like if there was a concert that I was going to, I'd wait by the backstage door to meet them, and I would always give them a tract. And it didn't become a full-time ministry until 2015. I got an opportunity to meet James Taylor, and he made the comment to me because I referenced his interview from the 90s where he said, I was raised by two atheist parents. I'm agnostic, but I would be open to listen if somebody were to take the time to show me.
Right.
And I, again, that's just such an open door. If that were our next door neighbor, we hopefully would be knocking down that door. And and so I got to talk to him. I had a good conversation with him. Again, there's no way of knowing how long you're going to get with somebody. It's not a matter of how famous they are or not famous they are. I've had A-listers give me more time than D-listers, so to speak. And James told me, I remember that interview. It's been almost 25 years. You're the first one to come and intentionally have a conversation with me about it. And I
Wow.
was so encouraged and so heartbroken and burdened. Encouraged because God had really laid him on my heart. Discouraged because you can't tell me in 25 years I'm the first Christian to cross paths with James Taylor.
Absolutely.
And that's when I really stopped and said, these people are known, but they're forgotten. We we view them just as objects almost. We want them to be exactly who we want them to be. We want them to entertain us. It's almost a dance monkey dance mindset.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they say something that we disagree with, we want to just completely write them off and just almost curse them. It's like, oh, forget them. And it's like, you realize this is just a soul who doesn't know Christ. And so that was the night that I fully surrendered my life to the Lord for ministry. Like I said, I got saved when I was 8, really wrestled with wanting to do my desires. And not that I was necessarily wanting to live in sin. It was just not wanting to do what God had called me to do. And I
Right.
remember praying, God, if this is what you want me to do, I have 2 prayer requests. Again, not that God even has to answer those, but it was just 2 things I said. One, show me I'm not wasting my time, because that's all the time. I woke up this morning to a really, really, if nobody's looking at the video right now, I'm doing the quotation marks with my hands, really encouraging comment, and said I was the cringiest ministry account they'd ever come across. And do you think for a moment anybody takes these materials home? To that I say, um, first of all, my youth students tell me every week I'm cringy. So congratulations for discovering the obvious. Um, I'm fully aware of that. But as far as people taking the material, no, I don't think for a moment that every single person does.
Right.
And there are times that I know they don't, and I don't post that. I try my best to always. I never want to bash somebody and then come across the page and be like, oh my goodness. The only reason I posted Chevy Chase, if anybody's seen the Chevy Chase video, is because that was a decade of talking to this gentleman, him coming to his atheistic or agnostic conclusion, and I told him I was going to get as many people praying for him as possible. Here we are.
Right.
Um, but to that, there are going to be some who are not receptive, just like any ministry. And so I pray, God, please show me I'm not wasting my time. And number 2, open doors. I was living in Southwest Virginia at the time. It's not really Los Angeles or New York. And here we are 11 years later.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I appreciate you sharing all that. I think it's like you said, we've kind of forgotten them. Like in the church today, not every church, but some churches, we
Hmm.
see these people as just almost demonic humans that are almost reprobate, and we're not going to reach them because
Right.
they're in
I
these
grew up in
movies and
a,
they're terrible. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree
no.
with that at all, and you obviously don't. And I think you know they have jobs, just
Hmm.
like me and you have a job. Their job is just different than ours.
Yes.
Um, why are we shocked when people sin? People that are living in sin, obviously.
Hmm. Absolutely. You can't
They need to be
expect the
reached.
unsaved to act saved.
Exactly, exactly. So I think it's amazing ministry.
Thank you.
And when you say that James Taylor 20 something years and nobody had reached out. That blows my mind. Like, that is sad that the church has failed on such a high level of reaching these people, because it's not just James Taylor, it's our neighbor.
It
It's
is.
the guy we pass in the grocery store every day. Um, the church I grew up with in, they took a weekend and they scaled out an area close, not even far, and they went and intentionally knocked on doors of people that I guess they had a record that had never attended that church, had never came and visited or anything like that. So they went to them, talked to them. So many. I mean, we're in the Bible Belt. We're in the mountains of West North Carolina, right here where I'm at. You would think everybody knows Christ, or everybody at least has an
Yeah,
idea
you're
of
just
what
right down the
Christianity.
road from me for that
Right,
matter.
right near you, man. And the majority of the people they talk to were almost clueless. Right here, where there's 50 Baptist churches in my county.
Yeah, no, and I'll say this too, where you and I, um, we're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah,
One problem I've come across, I'm in East Tennessee now,
yeah,
and I see it more largely in the Bible Belt, and it makes sense. We have a lot of what Billy Graham called vaccinated Christians. That's not a political statement. What it means is you've gotten just enough Jesus to
yeah,
keep you from getting the real thing.
yeah,
And I think there's a lot of good old boy religion around here. And it's God, guns, and country. And
yeah,
people have no idea what it means to follow Christ, to surrender your life to Him.
yeah,
And we're really seeing the result of that over the past 50, 60 years, I think, especially. And as a youth pastor, I'm seeing that played out with the next generation.
yeah.
And we're going to get to a point of godlessness if we don't step up our evangelism and our personal discipleship.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I say they were clueless, I should say most of them, oh yeah, I'm saved.
Hmm.
But when you break down what is that, they were clueless. And I like to tell people, when I was in high school, I didn't know anybody that was lost.
Yeah.
Everybody I talked to, oh yeah, I'm saved. What's
Yep.
salvation? Well, one time in Bible school, I said the ABCs and one, two, threes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, well, that's, but what's behind
There's
that?
nothing
There's nothing
technically
there.
wrong with that, but it's
Yeah,
that whole. I think I
it's
might have
a
told you.
it's a formula to them,
Yes, I
and
think I might have
like,
told. Yeah, I was going to say. I think I
sorry,
might have. No, no, no. You're good. I think. I think there was like a 2 second lag, and I kept talking over you. I'm so sorry. No, I was going to say. I remember when you said Bible school. I think I told you on the phone there was this group that came up to me at Bible school wanting to be saved this past year. And I just started asking them, so why are you here? And most of them couldn't tell me why, or, oh, my
yeah,
friend came. And I was like, okay, well, we're talking about salvation. Do you know what that is? No? Okay, go back downstairs. We have
yeah.
to be so careful. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Nope, you're good, man. I totally agree, and I think that's something. Um, Bible believing churches know this, but we need to do a better job of portraying that to the rest of the community and,
Yes.
by a larger part of the region and the world. Um, I read an interview this week with somebody, a famous person, and they talked about how they got saved a second time. And I don't want to say who it is because I'm not judging their salvation. They very well be um, a Christian. They grew up in the church, from what I read, and but their second salvation. So you only
Yeah.
get saved once. I'm not. I'm just saying. This person said they got saved twice. Um, they went to a judgment house, got scared, and prayed to get saved. I can't judge that salvation, but I
Mm.
think there's a lot of people that have that experience of, oh my goodness, hell's real. I'm going to hell. Let's pray a prayer and get out of that. And like I
The
said,
get out
I'm
of
not
hell free card.
get out of hell card, and I'm not judging them saying they're not saved.
Right.
But I think we do have a lot of that, and I think there needs to be this. I think a key part to those types of, we're going to call it salvation, is discipleship, follow up, and make sure they understand what salvation really is, because salvation happens in an instant. They may very well be saved, but we need to help them grow in that salvation and make them disciples where they can go out and spread the gospel.
Yep.
That's
No.
that's what I
I,
think. So,
full
and,
agreement.
and that's what I'm trying to harp. So I'm also have my youth group, and that's what I'm trying to. Like, we spent the first. I started in July 1st. I harped on. I say harped on, but I have salvation every week, and I'm still on salvation every week. But I'm trying to add growth to that. So
Yes.
bring it back to the simple salvation. But what should we be doing as once we are saved? So um, I think that's key, and I think sometimes that's dropped for sure.
No, it
So,
it really is. The discipleship aspect is massively dropped, which is why you don't see a lot of deeply rooted Christians, which is why
yeah,
you see a lot of people falling away because they put their faith and trust in things other than Christ.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, I could probably talk about this the rest of the day, but
Oh, me too.
we're
I
gonna
get
bring
fired
it.
up on this, especially with the climate of some of the things I've seen on social media over the past 24 hours. I'm
Yeah,
fired up right now.
yeah. We'll talk about that off air.
Yes.
um, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Let's go into tell us. I want to see how to put this. Tell us like the most shocking experience maybe that you can share with a celebrity. Maybe from the aspect of I did not expect it to go that well, or I did not expect it to go that bad. I know you don't want to share the bad ones, but maybe share one that it was like, whoa, this person actually like gets it, or um, they are saved. I was not expecting this response. Something like that.
So I will share a bad one. And the reason I'll share a bad one is, again, there's got to be some context as to why I share the bad one. Am I sharing the
Yeah,
bad one just to say, oh, this person's bad? No.
right.
I'm sharing it because it's um one thing I've noticed as a youth pastor, as just somebody in the church in general, a lot of times evangelists, speakers, missionaries, whatever, will share the positive stories. And then my youth group, and I was this kid too, will go out and it won't go well. And then they get discouraged because they're like, well, it doesn't go that way for brother such and such. I'm like, yes, it does. He just didn't tell you about it. So
Yeah,
I try to find that happy medium. Like, um, I'm not going to say a name because I promised
yeah.
this person I would never publicly say this because they could lose their job. But there was a Comic Con a year ago, and I hadn't posted this person. The reason, and I post once a day. The reason, sometimes twice a day, but the reason I post once a day is because I want everybody to have an equal platform. I want everybody to pray for the D list just as much as the A list. Nobody
Yeah,
is more important or less important. We're all souls. And of course, it's just human mindsets. It's like I'm going to recognize Tom Hanks a lot quicker than I'm going to recognize the kid who played young Josh Baskins in Big, but they're
yeah,
both saying the same way to God, their souls. Um, but so this person, I hadn't posted them yet, and part of the reason I hadn't posted them yet is because I kind of go in order of these are the people that are the most open, need the prayer right now. They're looking at it, if that makes sense. This person, I was like, again, and you know this as somebody who preaches and evangelizes, you know when somebody's like, yeah, that didn't go well. That wasn't well received. This celebrity was one of them, and I got a message, or I actually just saw a comment. It was on one of the posts that was getting shared last year about Ozzy, and somebody said, I have met this young man. He came and witnessed to one of my clients, and I actually have the Bible that he gave my client because my client said, I don't want this, throw it away, and I can't throw away a Bible.
mm,
I didn't even hardly look at this person's profile. I went and messaged them, and I was like, thank you for the kind, because they wrote a very sweet paragraph about how I approach people. I said, thank you for the kind words and encouragement. Was it blah, blah, blah? And they, oh my goodness, yes. And I was like, I knew it. Not that I'm like, yay. It was just
yeah,
like, yep, I just knew in my heart. And they were like, you can never say that I said this. I said, oh, it will go to the grave with me.
yeah,
And again, I say that not everything goes well.
yeah,
And even just because someone's like, oh, thank you, I'm like, yeah, that's not getting out of this room.
yeah.
The bad experience, and I'll share a shocking good one. I'll share an encouraging one from this past weekend.
Okay.
I'll share two actually, and they're both fairly brief. But the bad one that I am going to share and say the name is Doug Bradley. You may have heard me talk about him. He played Pinhead in the Hellraiser movies. He calls himself an evangelical atheist, which is really interesting. You spread the message of hopelessness and nothingness. Cool. That's
Mhm.
really great.
Hmm.
Um, there's a little cynicalism there.
Yeah,
I am fluent in sarcasm, which is good and bad.
yeah.
Um, it's got me it got me in trouble at a church business meeting one time. Somebody was going on and on about, we have to have church members driving the church van. I was like, "Oh yeah, we have that." And then it just kept getting repeated and then I just raised my hand. I said, "So that I can't let the hitchhiker drive us back from really long trips anymore while I sleep?" And my
Yeah,
pastor's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
yeah,
"I'm entertaining myself. I'm bored over
yeah.
It just shows that's my sinful carnalness there. And I'm sitting there and all my youth kids are like, "You're so dumb." I'm like, "I know I am. I know I am." But no. So went and talked to Doug. I didn't know why I felt peaceful to talk to Doug. It just didn't make sense. And it didn't go well. Not shocking. That's not the
Yeah,
shocking part. He was, I'll say this, he was polite. He was nice. He wasn't nasty, wasn't ugly, but you could tell he was somebody who is an atheist because he thinks that it is going to better the world to move forward. Because I've met people who are like, there's no real atheist. There's just people that's mad at God. And I'm like, I do believe there are some people who say they're atheist and that's them. That was not Doug. There are people who genuinely do not believe, and sadly, he is one of them. He debated me for quite some time. He held up the whole line and he told the line. He was like, "Y'all listen, I want you all to be educated from this."
wow.
He wasn't ugly though. He was
Yeah,
just polite and he made the comment. He said, "You're the one who came to me." And I'm like, "No, I'm game for this. I'm ready for this." And when he was done with his end of the debate, he said, "I'll give you the same respect that you gave me." And I had a platform to talk to him. Again, I say all that to again say these people are not all are just like, "Oh, I hate Christians." You could tell he was just like, I'm going to treat you with the same human decency as anybody else. You treated me with decency. I'm going to return the favor." And I'm like, "Good." I showed that love of Christ to him in that way. I didn't take as long as he did because I could tell the line was ready to kill me. I was at a horror convention, so most of the people there look like they want to kill you anyway.
yeah.
And he listened. He answered my questions. And at the end, he grabbed the gift. He said, "Is your contact info in here?" I said, "It is." He said, "Well, if I ever change my mind, I'll let you know. I'm always open to reading comedy material, so I'll look at it. But don't wait by the phone." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I stepped to the side and I'm going through my bag and I'm just kind of sweating because I'm like, "Oh, that was an intense half an hour." I mean, it was a long time.
Wow.
And this guy steps out of line and he looks like the person you don't want to see on the street. And he
Yeah.
goes, "Hey, dude." And I was like, "Hi." And he said, "You got any more of that Lee Strobel guy stuff you were talking about?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, I've always got generic material with me." So I grabbed him one of everything I had in my bag.
Yeah.
I'm like Mary Poppins there.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
spoonful of Jesus helps the sin go away. And That's so stupid. Yeah, man. Maybe that guy was onto something with the cringy comment. But because I just did it to myself. I'm like, man, that was dumb.
I
But
like it. I like
in all
it.
seriousness, you see why I'm a youth pastor now.
Yeah, it works.
Um, so this guy, he said, "Thanks, man." And I said, "Do you have any questions? Do you want to talk?" He goes, "Nope. I just wanted to look at it. It interested me." I said, "Well, if you ever want to get a hold of me, contact info's in the back of the material." Um, about a month or so goes by, and I get a message from this guy. He was like, "You may not remember me." I'm like, "Oh no, I remember you. I had a nightmare about you." No, but I said, "No, I do remember talking to you." He said, "I just wanted to let you know I was standing in line as an atheist. I was cheering on Doug. Some of the points you made me really stop and go, 'That's a very valid point. I wanted to look into it for myself because I never really have. And I wanted to let you know that I got saved this morning." And he had
Wow.
started going to church in North Carolina. Last time I checked on him, he was the worship leader at his church in North Carolina. And I was just like, that right there just goes to show This is why you listen to the Holy Spirit and you don't look at things on paper, because there's always someone listening. There's
Yeah.
always somebody around the corner. You may not know this side of heaven. If my contact info wasn't in there, I would have never known.
Right.
But thank the Lord that all of that was for that one person in line. It wasn't even
Yeah.
who I intended it to be. And the
Yeah.
same way that it didn't make sense to try to share the gospel with Doug Bradley, it also didn't make sense this past weekend to share the gospel with Brad Dourif. He played Chucky in the movie Chucky.
Mm.
He's also oh, I can't remember his name in Lord of the Rings. He's a real creepy guy. I know that really narrows it down. Who's whispering in the king's ear. But anyway, um, in multiple interviews, he has called himself a lifelong atheist. And I'm like, okay. And again, that just doesn't make sense on paper to go share the gospel with somebody like that. But I felt
Yeah.
peaceful about it. And I'm like, all right, here we go. My wife and I had a really good conversation with him. You could tell he was very visibly touched by the Bible embossed as well as the material. Well, again, we don't always see behind the scenes, but when we do, it's really beautiful. Later that evening, manager his manager um was walking towards us, and he kind of hollered at us and said, "Hey, thank you for bringing Doug the Bible and the material. That meant more to him than you know." I said, "Well, I would love to know." And
Yeah.
he came over. He said, "My wife's technically his agent. I'm just kind of the handler." But he was sitting beside Doug the whole day. And he said, when you all walked away, Doug was just going on and on about the Bible. He's had a really, really rough week. And he was telling me some personal details as to why Brad was having, I said Doug, but why Brad had been having a rough week. And he said, he showed me the Bible and he said, this is God. This is God coming to me, which again, for somebody who's a lifelong atheist, that's
Mhm.
all by itself a huge step.
Yep.
And he said he took a break, FaceTimed his wife, showed her, took photos of it, sent it to his daughter. And he said all day, every time he had a break, he was reading the material. He said, My
Wow.
wife and I have talked to him for years. We love him and his family very, very much. So thank you for helping push him towards this direction." And again, it just goes to show, don't write somebody off just because of what they've said one time
Yeah.
down the road, or what you've overheard, or something you assume. If the Holy Spirit's leading you to talk to him, talk to him.
Yeah.
And the last shocking story I'll briefly share was from also this past weekend, Ty Simpkins, who he is from the Insidious movies, Jurassic World, been some other things, Iron Man. And it's always weird now. I feel like the old guy because I'm like, hey man, you're like a decade younger than me. But I'm 31. I think he said he's 22,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. But he shared his faith with us, how he had gotten saved. He was like, I was raised Catholic, but I couldn't tell you anything about Catholicism. I know Christ. And he was sharing with us when he made the decision to follow Christ. And he said, I'm trying to just figure everything out. All I know is Jesus saves, and that's who saved me. And I was like, that's a very good way to be. And so we had a really, really encouraging conversation with him. He was so excited over the Bible. He's like, I want to take a picture of you all with me on my phone with the Bible. This means more to me than you could ever know. And so those are some of the really shocking and encouraging stories.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate that. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I got three questions I like
Yeah.
to end and ask everybody. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, dude. That is I can't. Dang it. Alrighty. I'll try to do it this way. Different genres.
Okay.
Comedy, Dumb and Dumber, Undisputed. I will fight you to the death that is the funniest movie of all time. I can quote it beginning to end. Um, um, I have before I say this, have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, just making sure. I didn't
yeah.
know how I needed to pray for you.
Yeah.
So I just got new luggage, and you may already know where this is going. And because my luggage I've had for years, it was just falling apart. And Morgan was like, my wife, she was like, you have to get something a little nicer. So we were at TJ Maxx, where everybody goes to get nice
Oh yeah.
things. And I grabbed the Samsonite suitcase and I said, Samsonite, I was way off. And she goes, what are you talking about? And I really just mourned our marriage for a moment. I thought that was the end. And then at the convention this weekend, because I used that suitcase at the shows to carry all, I had 17 gift bags. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
camel them.
yeah.
And this one guy, I was standing beside him in line, and he just starts going, Slimmy, Slimy, Swanee, sa. And I was like, you're a good
I
man.
got
I like you.
it.
So Dumb and Dumber for comedy. Um, Star Wars will always be a very, very special part in my life. I'm gonna go with Revenge of the Sith with that. I know that can be
Good choice.
controversial to
No,
some, but that's
I'm
my
with you,
childhood.
actually. No,
Um, Jaws is also one of my favorite movies of all time. Just
yeah,
a classic. And the last one I'll say, just as a drama, Rain Man. I love the movie Rain
okay.
Man. It's funny, it's sweet, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. It's what a movie should be. And then I gotta throw Back to the Future in there too. Just throw it somewhere in the mix. Those are the main movies I always come to mind for favorites.
Back to the Future is my favorite movie of all time, and
Yeah,
it stands on a mountain by itself, kind of, and it just
yes.
I love it
It's a
so
masterpiece.
much. It's
It is a
perfect.
masterpiece. Oh, and I didn't
Yeah.
mention Forrest Gump. See, listen, we could just go on and on and
There's a
on
lot. There's a
about
lot.
that. It is, yeah. Yeah, now when my wife watches this, she's like, "How do you not mention Forrest Gump right out the gate?" I'm like, because I was in a nerd state of mind.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Just
All
came
right,
from a
so
Comic Con.
right, right. Favorite TV show of all time.
Oh, The Office.
Okay,
That's pretty
it's
easy.
easy,
Yeah,
easy.
that's
Okay,
an easy one. I love a lot of TV shows. I don't get to watch it really, same with movies. I don't get to watch TV and movies too much.
yeah,
Like we don't have cable at our
yeah,
house, and some of my students are like, "Is it religious convictions?" I said, "No, it's expensive and we don't have time, so why waste money?" And
yeah.
we have um DVDs and we can really help it's a good accountability like with our kids and everything. It's like we know exactly what we're putting on. It's very intentional,
Yeah,
both movies, and I'll just buy box sets of,
there you go.
there's a used bookstore that has movies down the road and I will go there all the time. But The Office, it helped get us through COVID. It was just it we had just got married, and that will forever be special to us.
That's right. I
Love The
like that.
Office. What's your favorite?
Home Improvement.
I do like Home Improvement.
So
It's a good show.
that is like my comfort show, favorite show. I mean, that's
I
yeah. So, have you met him?
have.
Okay, how
Yep,
did that go?
I've met the whole cast except Wilson, who passed away,
Okay,
and the boys. I've not met any of the boys, but
okay,
Patricia
okay.
Richardson, Debbie Dunning, Richard Karn, and Tim Allen.
They're going to be in Kingsport in like end of May at a convention I
So
saw.
I Kingsport's like 30 minutes from me.
Yeah.
That I've gone to that show every year. I'm gonna miss this one though. I'm gonna be at the
Oh,
Hollywood show in California that weekend.
okay, okay.
Yeah, which
Um,
the good thing is most of the people in Kingsport I've seen recently.
talk to
So
them. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, so Home Improvement, like that was to me as a kid the funniest show ever, and I
oh, it's
just
great.
rewatched it again for about the 20th time. Just finished, so now I'm on the middle. So I really like the middle.
I've never watched that.
You would like it, I think. And Atticus Schaefer, who plays Brick, is a Christian. I actually had him on a podcast that I did previously. Great guy.
Nice.
It was awesome to interview him and hear him talk about his relationship with Christ. Really, really cool dude. Um, okay, favorite music artist of all time.
The Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it's funny, movies, it's difficult, but when it came to shows and music, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, you got it knocked down.
The Beatles are what really made me fall in love with music. They've got their weird eras, but overall, they're
Yeah.
they're the greatest.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and I would say favorite Christian musician, I'd have to go with Skillet. Um,
Okay.
which I know anybody who follows the ministry page is like, oh, big shocker, because that's
Yeah.
like the only shirts I wear.
Because
And
like you wear a lot of shirts that say skillet.
well, no, John Cooper, his wife joked with me one time. She said, people are probably going to think that we endorse you. I'm like, well, I mean, you could,
Why
but
not? Come on now.
I said, listen, I said, you all just make good merchandise and it's good conversation starters
Yeah,
and it's comfortable and it's cheap.
there you
That's
go.
everything that I love right there. So Beatles and Skillet. How
There
about
you
you?
go. Okay. So I do not like the Beatles. You're gonna, yeah. I think people are shocked, and there's a reason. There's a
Oh,
reason.
if you say
I,
John
I,
Lennon, we're about to have a
no,
theological
no.
discussion here
I'm a
because I'm like, we
huge,
got to separate some stuff.
yeah. No. I'm a huge Elvis fan.
Elvis
Like
is good.
Elvis is top of the line for me. You cannot beat it. And it was just, to me, there was too much little competition there, and so I'm just going with Elvis. Sorry, Beatles, you're just not as good. There's four of you, one of him. I'm going with Elvis.
No, it's
So, and I say I don't like the Beatles. I mean, I listen to them. Their music's good, but I'm not a fan.
right. It's
Just
like
for that
me.
reason,
One,
the
one of my
competition.
closest, one of my closest friends is like, it's either got to be the Beatles or Rolling Stones, and I'm like, it'll be the Beatles all day. I'll smack talk the Rolling Stones for the heck of it, but I'm like, they're incredibly talented too.
Yeah,
Um, I think one other question you could add that just
yeah,
really defines somebody's personality. Your
yeah.
first concert. I think that tells you a
That
lot
would
about
be
somebody.
that would be good. What was yours?
Just guess. You've talked to me enough. My personality. Who would you say was
Was it
my
Skillet?
first concert? No, it was not a Christian artist. But when I tell you who it is, you're gonna be like, oh, that makes sense.
Oh gosh, this is tough. Are
I'll
they
give you a
alive?
hint. What's that?
Are they alive?
They are. They're alive. I've met them a couple times. It's not a band. It's a solo artist.
I was going to go Jerry Lee Lewis because I know you had a good experience with him.
Yes.
So
No,
I'm going to
never
go.
got to
I don't
see
know.
Jerry.
I don't know.
Weird Al.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense
I
now.
know. See,
I would,
as soon as I say it, you're like, oh yeah, that adds
yep,
up.
that makes total sense. It makes total sense. My first concert was Ricky Skaggs.
Nice.
Um, and I actually,
He's a
so
good
me,
man.
oh, he is. He's amazing. Um, that was my first concert and the first um, album I asked for for Christmas
Nice.
was one of his albums. So I actually met him. Me and my brother went to a concert, and we just was walking down the street. It was outdoors, and he just walked out of his tour bus and was standing there, and we talked to him, got a
Oh
picture.
yeah,
So it
he
was
is
awesome.
not he is not the rock star personality of Leave Me Alone. He's very
Yeah,
accessible to people. I saw him, and I'll say this, you may not even air the podcast after I say this.
yeah.
I'm not a fan of Ricky's music. I've told
Okay,
him that.
that's fair.
I am not a bluegrass guy. I'm very selective with country. Bluegrass, I mean, it's just like we can get through this, but
Yeah,
I am a fan of his heart for the Lord and how much he uses his platform because I was at a Christmas event. This was the last time I saw Ricky. I think it was 2019, 2018, 2019, and he spent, I'm not kidding you, like 2 hours outside his tour bus talking to people.
awesome.
But every single person, the reason I'm mentioning this, every single person that he was talking to, he was asking where they stood with Jesus.
That's awesome.
And I saw him lead one person to the Lord.
So guys, as you can tell right here, our video got cut short. So we missed the very ending. I just wanted to let you know what had happened. But hopefully one day we can get our brother back on here to do some more discussion. Thank you guys for listening so far. This has been another episode of Craig Messer's Front Porch Stories. Hey y'all, I'm Craig Messer, local realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Heritage out here in beautiful Haywood County, North Carolina. We've got 2 offices to serve you, one in Maggie Valley and one in Canton. If you are looking to buy or sell, this is the perfect time to do so, and Western North Carolina is the greatest place that you can do it. Western North Carolina is what we like to call God's country. We've got beautiful mountains, beautiful valleys, beautiful rivers, great people, great downtown scenes, great schools with some of the greatest rivalries in all of the Southeast. I'm a local. I was born here and raised here, went to school here, I go to church here, and now I'm raising my own family here. And I can attest that there's nowhere else that I would rather be. And if you're looking to buy or sell, reach out to me and let's start this journey together. Whether you want to be up on the mountaintop or down here in the valley, we can find a place for you.